have you seen the positive change in the narrative if we're using those words?
Yeah, I have. I think we spoke about it just now. We spoke about a lady who's incredibly influential in terms of bridging that diversity gap in Jane Franklin, right? Who's someone who I was fortunate to meet about 9 years ago, maybe, off the top of my head, for the former company, where we did a panel on women in tech or women in security, I think it was at the time. It's a panel that I also part built with my colleagues at the time, and a real refreshing perspective on it all in terms of what people like Jane is doing at that time and where they are now. The content that they produce now and the affinity to that content resonates with the genders that we're aware of, right? I think it's happened over time, and I think Zach, you mentioned on your podcast about the WeSys platform. I think that you went to the event at Vodacom, which Carissa's played a huge role in developing, and the audience was full of women, right? And that is the aim, right? That is the whole aim. I think what those platforms have done really well, and what Jane has done really well, is created that community feeling, that peer-on-peer engagement amongst the female community in this industry. And I think you do have that peer-on-peer group to go to from the female community. I think it's there. I think it's sometimes hard to get into those things and have the confidence to go into those things as well, because there's self-doubt and there's the imposter syndrome and the rest of it, which we've already spoken about, right? And I think the evolution of that is where I jumped the gun potentially, is that eventually there won't be that feeling. There won't be that, as you guys have said in the chapters, right? You walk in and you notice how many women are in the room, and you notice how many women speakers are on the agenda, and you notice that sort of thing. Eventually I'd like it to flip reverse, which I think it needs to, where we have all women. And I did actually task myself with the February chapter that only women would lead sessions, but the community wouldn't come forward to do it, and even though I asked. I just think the narrative has changed somewhat, but at this level, and I think how people have got to this level now has been such a battle and such a fight and so unnecessary. And the opportunity that we have with Journeys to Inspire is, we are looking to go into schools, if we can get some schools to get back to us eventually. We are looking to get into schools and deliver this message to the young age. And I use an example. My son was selected as a digital leader in his class, and they were picking one girl and one boy per class. That was what the aim was, which was great, right? Equal. Nice, that's what you want. The applicants were male heavy or boy heavy, unfortunately, from the insight that I've received. And the girl that was picked alongside Evan has decided not to participate, even though they applied as an 8-year-old for a role in the school. I'm itching to get to the bottom as to why that is. I'm hoping that it's not the experiences that you ladies have experienced in your careers, right? The ceilings that you've experienced, or the discomfort that this, I won't say her name because obviously she's a child, but this young lady's experienced in this process, which is linked to STEM vocations. All right, they're 8 years old. They're not going to jump into careers straight away. They've got quite a long path ahead of themselves. But my fear is at the grassroots level, there's still that subconscious challenge. And I think potentially, without overthinking it, where I'm from, the mindset of the area that I'm in, the valleys itself, the mining culture, which is similar to South Africa, possibly might be another reason why I resonate with SA, right? But the mining valleys and the coal mines and everything is still one or two still operational around here. That mindset is still potentially could be here, and the influences that are on these young people locally here may not give them the vision that we could. And as a third party, sometimes that's really refreshing as well, right? Not a parent or not an uncle or an auntie or a sibling or whatever the case may be. So I do think the narrative has changed. I'm really pleased. I feel like I'm doing a lot more towards it. I mean, we've got a long way to go. This is still early stages, right? But um, the main thing that I want from it all is that there's impacting outcomes and tangible,
Mm.
objective outcomes to what we're doing. And I hope that the platform enables that, across the efforts of all of us. And, it's not just me. You know, it's great to be part of it, and I'm really grateful to be part of it. But I am only part of it. I'm not leading it. Right. This isn't about me. This isn't about the alliances. This is about the next gen. Right.
Mm.
Um, Pathways to leadership. Right. What can we do to make sure that that's diverse?
Brilliant. I think it's great that we've started,
Mm.
and like you said,
Mm.
we've got a long way to go. But I
Mm.
think it's actually great to have started this journey.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
again, if we change one person's view or one person's life, then we've made a difference, right?
absolutely.
So great.
And
Exactly.
I think the you know and I just want to bring it back to the fact that we're trying to the equity. We're saying women leaders, and it started that way, but it's also steamrolled into there's a lot more diversity out there that's not included, and that's where that inclusion comes in, and that's where you kind of standing out as well, Leigh, is let's not exclude anybody. There's no one that's excluded from this. Everybody's had a journey, everybody's had something that has affected their pathway, and what has that journey cost them, what has that journey brought them, and what could we change for the future generation.